And he mistook what I said, and then he said back to me later, did you say you'd take your bike to BMW to get it? And I was like, fuck no, £180 an hour. Fucking not a chance, mate.
Yeah.
Well, that's extortionate.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, just to get my fuel strip replaced, so I can actually have a working fuel gauge again, it's
Yeah.
£190.
Yeah, it's
The
ridiculous.
part's like 63 quid. So the rest of it's just fucking labour.
Yeah.
You're like, holy shit, man.
And all they're going to do is take off the, what do you call it, the cosmetics around the tank, and then go in, out, job done, see you later.
You start thinking, could I just maybe just cut that time in half by just removing the fairings myself?
Yes, and then, you know, and then just giving you the bike later.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a three-way. Those suck.
I know,
It's a
it's always
three-way.
a devil's horn.
Devil's horn, devil's horn.
One's on rainbows and sugar cups.
I was a bit sick, 'cause I thought that bike was at that bus was at the lights. No, apparently the drivers just abandoned it.
Get out of it. What have you seen driving it?
Can never figure out on my front vent what's open and what's closed on this helmet.
I always run closed. Everything.
Alright,
Never
that's why you
have I opened a vent.
don't find fogging work a problem?
Mate, I'd rather not see than hear. You know what I mean?
Right, okay, with you. So this experimental headset setup you're running now, Robert, are you going to do that in the Rurik as well?
No, that's an interesting question. And I'd like to counter your question with another.
It's just rude. But go on.
Oh, you have to give me some time to think of the question. I don't
Oh,
know.
you need to make it up first, right, okay.
Yeah. edit this out. And then to us 12 miles down the road, I'm going to come back.
That's it. That's fine, as long as, I think, to be honest, people put too much emphasis on the gap. As long as there has been a witty comeback, I think we're all good. Some form of witty comeback.
I mean, honestly,
right, okay.
I absolutely hate the Rurik, if I'm being honest with you. The style, the design of the Rurik is fucking mint. I love the designs that they have, but the actual build quality and the dampening that they have in it is so fucking dog shit, right? It genuinely makes me hate my existence while I wear it.
Right, okay, so self-loathing.
Much rather chop my own fucking eardrums than listen to the tunneling of wind that comes from the Boeing 737 engine that is the Honda.
Yes.
It's
not the quietest engine, is it? To be honest.
No, I love the Honda. It sounds, but I also hate the Honda. No, I don't hate the Honda. I hate the helmet because it is utter dog shit. It's made of paper mache and hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Hopes and dreams that you're not going to sue them because you've got tinnitus.
Do you know what they're saying in court? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. 100%.
Another new housing build for overly expensive houses that no one can afford?
Yes. Wrong way, but we will turn round.
I kind of thought this might have been, but I didn't want to say anything, mate.
We have a roundabout.
Well, there's a roundabout here, mate, so we're good. Yeah, we'll use that.
This is what the roundabout's for.
It is. It's for correcting issues on turn-in.
It's going round.
That was a desirable return roundabout. Thank you, roundabout.
Yes, yeah, I thought you'd like to experience it, so...
I think that was a very small, well-rounded roundabout.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. Oh, Chris will appreciate that.
Yeah, and I thank you for thinking of me.
You are more than welcome, sir.
Now, let's get a move on. There we go. Look at Robert obeying the speed limits. Okay. He looks not getting stopped by the police for speeding.
That is highly debatable, sir, and I'll argue that until I'm dead.
Favourite hobby?
Okay, so we're supposed to turn off again, apparently.
Is this
We've enjoyed something above 30 miles an hour now, so...
Right, okay.
I think we're supposed to be going right.
Right on? Yeah. Well, yeah. It would be the straight on option. I'm not doing too much anyway on the bike, mate. I'm not going to go too mad on the bike on these roads anyway, because the tyre I've literally had for 40 miles. So it's not quite running yet.
Yeah, do you know what that sounds like?
What?
Words
What is
in
it?
my ears.
Sounds words like you. Well, words you can actually hear for a change.
Makes a nice change.
Because it's having a conversation, Robert, and not having what, and then having to slow down to hear it and then speed up again. I think those are
usually any
valuable.
conversation kind of, I don't know, with 30 miles an hour just really isn't practical.
Yeah. Oh, look at the state of this road.
Yeah,
Thanks, Farmer Giles. It's working well, mate. I think your experiment is so far proven quite successful.
Well, I believe so, but who knows? Plus the fact that this is the bell, right? And the bell was never, like, egregiously loud. I mean, it's loud in comparison, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's not like...
Yes.
The true test would be in the Rurik, and honestly, I just wear the helmet again, so I don't know if I'd make that experiment possible.
So that's obviously why you've been window shopping.
Indeed.
Because the Rurik is the worst helmet you bought?
As I say, styling, marvellous. Love it. Looks great. However, quality's dog shit.
Yeah, quality dog shit. So anybody who's interested in Rurik, be aware that this is not sponsored by them, because we're slagging them off.
However, to give them the build quality of their jackets and their armour sets, pretty decent quality. But entirely sure whether or not they actually make them.
Right, okay, thinking that they buy someone else's and
but the
stick a badge
engine
on.
stuff is decent. Like the build quality of the leather jackets and stuff like that, pretty good. Pretty decent. But the actual helmets, absolute banana dog shit.
And it was that helmet was over 400 quid, wasn't it?
What, the
Not what you paid for it, but the helmet was over 400 quid, wasn't it?
399, I think it was.
Yeah.
Again,
so for that price, you're expecting to get something that's comparable with other helmets at the same price.
I mean, yeah, you would think so.
But that's not the case.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
not the Well, we're off to go single laning. This is what we came for, people. Dirt tracks and bumps in the road. Have you watched Itchy Boots' videos recently?
Bits and pieces of them. I find that sometimes she can be very frustrating as a creator.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
I think that there's like a lesson in humility, right? Where you realise that what you're doing is fucking stupid.
Yes.
And then you go, no, I'm not going to do that. And then there's also a part where you go, fuck it, send it. And you do it, and it breaks. And then you're like, I don't believe it's broken. And you're like, yes, you do believe it's broken. Because previously in the day you went, nah, this doesn't seem right. And then failed to do anything about it.
Yeah, and then repeated it and did the same thing again.
Yes, so to a degree, I have been watching her, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, nah.
What are you up to?
You're clearly the worst victim here.
Yeah. Well, the thing is getting me is I've been watching them as they come out. You know what I mean? A couple hours after they've come out. If I'm on YouTube, I'll go and watch what she's. What's getting me more than anything is there's a quite attractive blonde European woman in Saudi Arabia on her own. Have you noticed the men hovering around her?
Yeah.
And that's just not Saudis, that's the Iraqis, the Kuwaitis, the Iranians. As soon as they see a single blonde fucking female, they're all over it.
I will give her credit. She's got more bollocks than I would have, if I was a blonde hottie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I certainly would not be going to fucking Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, all that sort of shit.
No.
As a blonde, blue-eyed hottie. I think I would be erring on the side of caution and perhaps just consistently, good God, Nevin, wearing a hijab consistently,
Yes.
and just covering any asset that I have,
Yes.
including my tutatas, and maybe perhaps wearing a schlonglang,
Yeah.
pretend I have a PP.
Yes, something along those lines to make sure that people don't realise. I mean, luckily nothing bad has happened, which is good.
Yes, exactly.
And it also puts the Middle East countries, which a lot of people believe are, backwards or, not quite up to the same moralistic levels as the West.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, the people in Kuwait, Saudi, Iran, Iraq have all been nicer than most Europeans.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Americans. They've gone out of their way to help her and not accept money. They've just helped her.
Yeah.
And that's, I think that for me, that's like puts a wee smile on my face going, actually, the world's not shit. It's just politics is shit.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? Stuff like that definitely highlights the fact that the people themselves are actually fairly reasonable.
Yeah.
And in most cases are actually just very nice. But then you end up with like the fucking political leaders and all this kind of shit that spread this horrendous fucking rhetoric. Sorry, that break, it was fucking...
I wasn't actually paying attention, I was listening.
So like you end up with all these world leaders that spread this just like tyrannical fucking rhetoric that people are just... Russians are all evil, America's fucking MP, blah, 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 blah. And to an extent, fairly accurate for a certain minority of... But the big majority of individuals, and I say this talk about Trump, that most American people, they've got heads on their shoulders, they realise that this guy is a fucking snutter.
Yeah.
They realise that he needs to be impeached or whatever. They're not necessarily in a position because, like, as much as he needs to be removed from power, the only real people that can do that are the American people because of their...
Yes, that's the only... Yeah, exactly. It's the only way that America will impeach Trump is if it's the people that do the impeachment, because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at Congress, and it's not going to happen at the state level, whatever's above the state level. It's not going to happen at the Senate.
And it's specific. The Constitution is specifically designed to make sure that the power is with the people and not the individual. And that's great. That's a really good thing. But the problem with that is, to be able to be effective, the people, the right to bear arms, for example, specifically because they don't want a tyrant. Right?
Yeah,
they want to be able to fight back against a corrupt government.
Yeah. But the whole point, I think the Americans forget, the Second Amendment to the Constitution is about you defending yourself against other civilians. It's about you defending yourself against an undemocratic, autocratic, or tyrannical government. That's the whole reason that was set up.
But that's the bit that worries me a little bit, because civil war is fucking horrendous, right?
It is. It's an awful thing. We've seen it in Bosnia. We've seen it in Africa several times, and it is horrendous. It destabilizes the entire country.
Well, I think, unfortunately, the way that things are going right now, the American people may be left with little choice but to use that Second Amendment right, bear arms and get rid of a tyrant that they no longer have an ability to remove democratically. And that's a fucking shame. And the thing is that sort of instability within such a country as fucking America will have such massive knock-on effects that any major superpower with any degree of intelligence will use it as an advantage.
Yes.
So potentially you've got Russia, you've got China that want to take advantage of the instability.
100%, yeah.
And then before you know it, we're stuck on a battlefield with America in civil war, South America going off on fucking one. And we've got Russia and China that's decided, actually, do you know what, mate? I'm going to bring my mate Iran into this, and we're all going to start kicking fuck at yous. And Europe's left, as it was during the fucking Napoleonic era, on its fucking own, very unsure what to do.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that although I don't really care about the American government at all, about what they're doing, I think the outward-facing reputation of America was heavily damaged. I believe there's a couple of presidents that have made efforts to make that better. But Trump has now managed, in the little time he's had, to destroy all of that. And the only thing I can see happening is Trump is going to change laws. He'll change certain parts of the Constitution. He'll change laws that only benefit him to allow him to stay longer.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? So when he was president the first time, he specifically said that he didn't believe that the actions that Putin took to make sure that he kept in power for so long were democratic. He thought that he was an act of tyrancy, you know, he's going to make himself a fucking dictator and all this kind of shit.
Yeah,
but he had to backpedal and start putting laws into place that he can then run for a third term, which legally speaking beforehand he couldn't fucking do.
No, he couldn't do it, and he as a president should not be allowed to ratify that. That should be going to the people.
Yeah, and this is the huge...
Go on.
I mean, I'm over hyper thinking about where the fuck we're going, so we're going left, potentially. Maybe?
Oh, it's a no through road. No, it's a no through road.
Not that way. There's somewhere over here.
Somewhere over that way. Cool.
Yeah.
You know, again, as I said, it's this allowing himself to have a third term goes against something that it's actually relatively new for the Americans. It's something that happened in the middle of last century, that it was put into power that presidents can only run for 2 terms. And that was to obviously stop the situation that's happening now. But when a president's got that much executive power, that he can change laws that are fundamental without consulting the people, and that's not a democracy. That's an autocracy.
Yeah, you can't use executive presidential powers to then change the democratic election process. That itself, it's just broken and corrupt beyond measure. Sorry, I was not paying attention.
No, it is. It is 100% the most undemocratic thing anyone could do. And I'm not saying we're any better.
No, we've had our own problems. Each country's fucked.
Yes.
But I think the big difference is we're quite stringent and quite fucking firm on who we believe that we want to support. And America just isn't. It flip-flops like a girl on prom night deciding whether or not to lose her fucking cherry or not.
Yes.
And that's fine when you're not talking about a global superpower with the actual infrastructure and the military power to change the face of the planet in relation to an actual democratic society or a fascist dictator.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And at the moment, obviously it's right-wing that's in the moment, so the automatic loop is that he'd become fascist. But the other thing is, I don't think he knows what he wants, because he talks like a fascist. He talks like Hitler did back in the mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
He's talking like him, yet he sides with someone who's communism, when the two political ideals are actually in opposition to each other and shouldn't support each other in any way, because they both want different goals.
He has advisors, which I appreciate, and I think any world leader with such power and authority should have advisors and should listen. The problem is, it's like fucking Lord of the Rings over there. You've got fucking snaky tongueworm dude. This is bad, master. Why does he come at such a late hour? And you're like, the fuck are you doing? Some cunt needs to come up being Gandalf and being like, be gone, Satan, and get the fuck away from it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I'm massively concerned over America at the moment. Hugely concerned.
I think
not for the internals of the country. They can fucking solve that themselves. I'm concerned about what Britain's reaction to that would be. Because me, and I'm not a politician, but for me, I would be looking to distance myself from the US as much as possible. Right now, that's where I would be headed. And I'd be looking to favour and side with the Europeans, because they're our closest and most important neighbour.
Yeah. I think the Americans, or certainly Trump and his administration, only laterally, don't think about the knock-on effect and what kind of subliminal messages they're sending around the world, or countries or governments around the world, where they can sit and mock Zelensky because, you know, they want the jock in the locker room fucking whipping its towel around saying, yeah, say fucking uncle, bitch, and fucking say thank you, da-da-da-da-da. But I genuinely think that Trump is so short-minded in relation to it. He's thinking about all the American people, and they're like, yeah, that is your job. But your words, your impact, your decisions, and how you deal with certain situations dramatically impact how another country is then going to deal with that individual or that government.
Correct. Yes.
So by mugging them off and telling them da-da-da, say fucking thank you, say fucking uncle, da-da-da, what you've done is you've just given a fucking green light to Russia to do what the fuck they want now, because you've just shown them that you're not going to back them with anything.
Yes, you're not going to back any other nation against them. In fact, whatever you think is right, whatever Russian does is right in your eyes. As you said, that lets Putin just say, well, fuck it, let's reform the USSR. Because that's obviously that's his goal. He wants the USSR back.
And he's fucking said that in as much words as fucking humanly possible without saying fuck all. I'm just like, well, clearly this is what you want. No. And you're like, yeah. I'm sorry, mate, yeah.
The fact that you invaded a sovereign nation that was ex-Soviet controlled as part of the USSR, and without any reason, it's a completely illegal invasion. Yeah. You know that's the case, there is no justification for it, and you've been doing it since 2012?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, we know that you won. We know the next thing in your list is going to be the Baltic states, Latvia, you know, those areas. And then you're going to march on into Poland, just so you can take all that back.
Yeah, like, it's happened before. We wrote it down to make sure we're aware. Like, we're going to remember, but he forgets it, so going to know that.
Yeah, I think it's fucked, mate.
It's not fucked. And I blame apathy on the situation. The lack of immediate response to an aggressor is the issue.
I think NATO's got a lot of big part to play in this.
I think we took far too long Whoa.
You fucking moronic fucking idiot.
Whoa.
Well, guess where that page is going, mate?
Fuck me.
That's going straight to the old bill.
And I was trying to find my horn there, but I think I've only ever used it twice in the GF, so I don't know where it was.
See when it comes to situations like this, mate, it just breaks on and get the fuck out of the way. That was dangerous as fuck. That's the most danger I've had on this bike ever. And it's not me. I don't mind if it was me. It wasn't me, it was him. Acting like a fucking moron.
You know what the most insulting part about that whole fucking situation?
What?
Is it was a fucking Mazda.
A Mazda MX-5 that was tricked out. Tricked out.
Just embarrassing.
Tricked. That was really fucking bad, mate, yeah. Yeah, I think what I'll do is, when I look at this footage, I'm going to go and take this out, and I'm going to send it to the old Bill.
Fair play, mate.
And say, please prosecute this guy for dangerous driving. Thank you for playing. Because he put both yours and my lives at risk. And not the fact that he actioned anything on his side. No, he just carried the fuck on.
I felt...
Say again, bud?
Castle. I felt... Maybe.
Do you feel at that moment in time, Robert, that your life is in danger?
I
lost you.
I pooed myself.
You peed yourself? Okay.
No, I pooed it.
Pooed it, okay.